Destiny 2 has one of the biggest catalogs of weapons that Guardians can choose from. These weapons change every single week as to what's meta and what's not. This can be decided from seasonal mods, mods on armor, builds, anything that goes each season can decide on which weapons are meta. It's very hard to keep on top of what's meta and what everyone's using. So in today's video, I want to cover the most popular weapons in every single category for every single gun. The weapons I'm going to be discussing today are the most used weapons in Season 21. There's a reason they're the most used, and it's probably because they're the best weapons in that category. So stick around right to the end to make sure you know exactly what weapons you should be using. So let's get straight into the video. Starting the list off, we have auto rifles, and the most used auto rifle in Season 21 is the Rufus's Fury from the new raid, Root of Nightmares. This was the most popular gun last season, and that's for good reason. This is definitely one of the best auto rifles that you can use. With some great perks to choose from, like reconstruction and target lock, this thing can turn into an absolute monster, and it can be really good for some boss DPS when you run out of special and heavy ammo. I'm sure everyone knows where this weapon comes from. It comes from the Root of Nightmares raid, the most recent raid. So jump in there, focus a couple of them, and hopefully you can get one of these crafted ASAP. Moving on to the hand cannons, we have the new version of the Nation of Beasts. This hand cannon is definitely one of the best hand cannons that you can currently get in Destiny 2. I recently made a video on this gun specifically a couple days ago where I take this thing and show you the best perks and rolls that you can get on it, just to show you how strong this hand cannon really is. Just a quick rundown, this thing can roll with Firefly and Vault Shot, making it a huge damage output and an amazing ad clear. Hand cannons haven't been in the spotlight for a long time. However, with Nation of Beasts finally being craftable with perks like Firefly and Vault Shot, this is definitely putting hand cannons back in the spotlight and putting some pressure on these submachine guns. The Nation of Beasts is obtainable through the Last Wish raid. You can actually craft this weapon as well once you've obtained 5 red borders. There's also a quest from Hawthorne each week where you can pick a red border that you want to achieve after you finish the raid each week and completed the quest. So definitely keep an eye out and try and get Nation of Beasts crafted if you want one. Moving on to the pulse rifles, we have another Last Wish weapon, the Shattering Bone. With the Shattering Bone falling under the lightweight frame at 450 rounds per minute, this weapon is an absolute tank. It is almost just a stat weapon. All of the stats on this weapon are just high, feels very good. The aim assist is great, the handling and the stability is really nice, and the reload speed is pretty fast. This is a great weapon for PvE and PvP. With basically any perk combination that you could want for PvE or PvP, this weapon is one of the most sought after pulse rifles in the game right now. A great PvP combo can be something like Kill Clip and Rampage, Kill Clip and Kinetic Tremors, and a great PvE combination could be something like Rapid Hit and Kinetic Tremors, Rangefinder and High Impact Reserves. There's plenty of perks to choose from to suit your needs. I've never really been a pulse rifle fan, but ever since I've crafted this weapon, it's slowly turning me and I feel the power of the pulse rifles. Moving on to the scout rifles, we have yet another Last Wish craftable weapon, the Transfiguration. This is going to be quite trendy this time around. With the weapons from Last Wish being craftable, these are definitely the most sought after weapons, and it's for great reason. All of these weapons are really good. The Transfiguration is a high impact scout rifle coming in at 67 impact, meaning it's a very hard hitter but slow shooter. As a kinetic scout rifle, this definitely gives Hung Jury a run for its money. I can confidently say that I will be using it this season instead of my Hung Jury. With great perks like Rapid Hit and Kinetic Tremors, Rapid Hit and Explosive Payload, this thing is an absolute tank and it can do some serious damage. Even Rampage and Kinetic Tremors could be a great combo for some insane damage. So if you haven't got the memo, make sure you're doing Last Wish each week and completing the quest from Hawthorne, so that you can craft as many of these weapons as you can. If you didn't know, when you hand in this quest and you pick a red border weapon, you actually get 2 red borders from Hawthorne. You get 1 in your inventory with a red border, and for some reason, you also just randomly unlock 1 pattern. Bungie does know about this bug, and they did post on their Twitter saying that they will fix it eventually, but in that same tweet, they also said that we should take advantage of this until they fix it, so make sure you're farming this while you can. Moving on to the fusion rifles, we have the Riptide. This was the most popular weapon last season as well, and I can almost guarantee that it's been the most popular fusion rifle since it's been in rotation from Lord Shaxx. With any sort of state stasis, shattering, or freezing, covering every single champion, having one weapon with chill clip in your loadout is almost a must. With Riptide being able to roll with auto-loading holster and chill clip, this makes this weapon a absolute monster. From just 2 bursts of this gun with chill clip, you can freeze any champion in the game or any enemy that threatens you like a wyvern or a mini boss. So it is very understandable why everyone wants a Riptide, and it is the reigning king of the most popular fusion rifle. What's funny about this great PvE weapon is it's actually obtainable through Crucible. So once you've built up a few engrams from playing Crucible, head over to Lord Shaxx and focus as many of these as you can, but beware, I focused at least 100 of these before I even saw one with chill clip, let alone chill clip and auto-loading holster. So unless you've got some crazy RNG, be prepared to waste a lot of engrams and get super unlucky. However, if you do get one, lock it, masterwork it, and never delete it. Since we're talking about fusion rifles, let's move on to linear fusion rifles and everyone's favorite, the Sleeper Simulant. Pretty much every Guardian has one of these. If you don't, I don't even know how you get it anymore. I think there's a quest, but I already assume you definitely have a Sleeper Simulant. If you don't, jump onto YouTube and Google how to get one, but I'm pretty sure it's fairly easy and almost every Guardian has one. This is definitely the most used LFR because of the new dungeon, Ghosts of the Deep. The final boss, the wizard, likes to teleport and move around like crazy, so having a couple Sleeper Simulants, make sure to knock her back so that she can't teleport and she is stun locked in the same position. On top of the great knockback and stun that it can do, it also does some serious damage. So if you haven't tried the Sleeper Simulant on the new boss in the Ghosts of the Deep, make sure to go check it out. Moving on to sniper rifles, we have the Supremacy, again from the Last Wish raid. Although snipers haven't been in the spotlight for many seasons, and they're still not really viable, they're still pretty fun, and the Supremacy can roll with some funky perks. With a perk combination like Rewind Rounds and 4th times the charm, this weapon can shoot, now get ready for this, 26 bullets in a row without having to reload. Yes, 26 bullets in a row. Now, I don't know what boss you're going to be using 26 bullets on a row in. Usually, all of these damage phases get time gated or something, but you can shoot 26. That is ridiculous. This is also a great PvP sniper that can roll with snapshot and opening shot, so make sure to get one of these crafted when you can. Moving on to shotguns. Now, I didn't actually realize this, but the tractor cannon falls under the shotgun category, and it is the most used shotgun. With the tractor cannon giving all of your allies a 30% damage increase, which stacks on top of Well of Radiance, the tractor cannon is a must in all raids and dungeons. Now, if you didn't realize, if you head over to the EDZ and talk to Shorhan, he will actually give you a key. Then if you turn around and walk into the little room right behind Shorhan, he will give you an 1800 fully masterworked tractor cannon if you don't already have one. It's a pretty neat little handy trick if you didn't know, so make sure you head over there and grab one. Now, I'm also going to tell you guys what the second most used shotgun is, and that is the Heritage. This weapon comes from the Deepstone Crypt raid. It is also craftable and it can roll with some great perks like Reconstruction and Recombination. This is a great slug shotgun for high damage on bosses and enemies at close range. So if you don't have a Heritage, make sure to do some Deepstone Crypt. Moving on to machine guns, we have the Thunderlords. This was also the most popular last season, and it's for good reason. This thing does some serious damage, and it is very, very simple to use. All you have to do is hit some headshots, you're going to get some ammo back, and you're also going to cause a huge lightning strike, resulting in some huge damage. This is also one of those exotics that I assume every Guardian already has, so if you have it, make sure to give it a try. Moving on to the DPS Kings, we have the rocket launchers, and again, another Last Wish weapon. We have the Apex Predator as the most favorite rocket this season. I don't even need to explain as to why this is the best rocket launcher. This weapon can roll with Reconstruction and Bait and Switch. Previously, everyone's go-to was the Hothead with Explosive Light. However, the Apex Predator can roll with Bait and Switch. With Explosive Light only giving a 20% damage boost, Bait and Switch gives a 35% damage boost, and this is incredible, especially paired with Reconstruction on the Apex Predator. With Bait and Switch being the superior perk, it's a no-brainer as to why the Apex Predator is everyone's favorite. If I was to choose one weapon from the Last Wish to craft, it would definitely be the Apex Predator. So if you haven't chosen yet, make sure to craft one of these. Moving on to sidearms, we have the Michael's Reverence. This is from the Root of Nightmares. Again, it was also the most popular last season. This sidearm can roll with Rewind Rounds and Hatchling, making it a great strand weapon. So if you're a fan of sidearms, make sure you get your hands on one of these. For the swords, we have the Other Half, and this is obviously because of the Eager Edge perk. Who doesn't love skating around and getting to places twice as fast? And if you're a warlock or a hunter, you can do a shatter or a well skate. It's a lot of fun. This weapon drops from Dares of Eternity. Be prepared to play a lot. You only need one of these to craft it, but getting a red border other half is very, very rare. So good luck with that if you can try and get one. Now moving on to grenade launchers, in the heavy slot we have the Anarchy. This is probably because of the Cali cheese that everyone was taking advantage of last week. This is definitely the most used purely because of that. However, for the other grenade launchers that aren't in the heavy slot, we have the Forbearance as the most popular. This weapon is basically a Salvage's Salvo 2.0 with perks like Ambitious Assassin and Chain Reaction. This is one of the best ad clear weapons in the game. You get this one from Vow of the Disciple. If you get any of these perks on this grenade launcher, definitely keep it until you can craft one. If you're a Guardian that definitely does a lot of ad clearing in raids, make sure to get your hands on a Forbearance ASAP. Moving on to the Trace Rifles, we have the Acacia's Dejection from the raid Root of Nightmares. The most popular combination for this weapon is Reconstruction and Incandescent. With Trace Rifles falling under the special ammo category, these are the best weapons to use when you want to run a double special loadout. So if you haven't got an Acacia's Dejection yet, make sure you try and get one from Root of Nightmares. It's a fairly simple raid, plenty of LFG groups going on all the time, so you can get your hands on one ASAP. Moving on to the bows, we have the Tyranny of Heaven, which is also from the Last Wish, another Last Wish crafted weapon. This weapon can roll with Dragonflight and Incandescent. This is much like the Nation of Beasts, another super good ad clear that does some serious explosive damage. I've never really been a bow fan, and I've never really used them, but I've got this one crafted and I'm definitely keen to try this combo out. Moving on to glaives, we have the Enigma. This was the very first glaive that was introduced in the Witch Queen campaign into Destiny 2, and it is still the most popular legendary glaive that we can use. Although glaives aren't very popular, only 0.1% of players are using glaives at any given time. This weapon can roll with some pretty good perks like Tilting at the Winds and Unrelenting. If you want to get your hands on one of these, make sure to do the Witch Queen campaign. Now coming up last, but certainly not least, we have the submachine guns, and the most popular this season is the Ikelos SMG. This is a great ad clear weapon to use with all of your arc builds this season. One of the popular trait combos is Feeding Frenzy and Vault Shot. Definitely the best for PvE. With aggressive frame SMGs being nerfed in the Crucible, this is definitely a PvE focused weapon. This is probably one of the most sought after weapons that every Guardian is trying to get. So if you've got one crafted, try out Feeding Frenzy and Vault Shot. It's a great combination. Although you can't actively farm for this weapon, the best way you're going to get one of these weapons crafted is look out for Xur and the Gunsmith to be selling them. Whenever they're selling them, grab a couple, and through the season pass you can use the Deep Sight Harmonizers to focus them. But anyway, Guardians, those are the most popular weapons in Season 21. Thank you so much for watching. If you've gotten this far in the video, I really appreciate that. Feel free to drop a like and a subscribe for more content just like this one. But anyway, Guardians, thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.